Committee for Monday, March 2nd. I'm Councilman Smith, Vice Chair of the committee, and Chair of the committee today, and the committee today. So there will be no one else here but myself. So all items today will be sent to council with a recommendation of the acting chair.
That's right.
Very good. Finally got it right after 6 years. Thank you very much. Items number 3 through 6 will be approved consent or recommended by consent. I guess everything today is by consent, isn't it, technically?
That's right.
Okay. Let's start with item number 1.
John White, City Clerk. Item 1, communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Ms. Ruth Ann Secunda to the Board of Animal Services for the term ending June 30, 2009 to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Mr. Glenn Brown.
Ms. Secunda, if you'd come forward, please. For the record, if you'd state your name and to the record.
Ruth Ann Secunda.
You're welcome, and we just had an opportunity to meet briefly in the elevator, but for the purpose of the public record, give me just a brief idea why you're interested in this commission, for one, and what your background may be in any kind of animal activities.
I was exposed to this commission a couple of years ago. I co-run an animal rescue organization, a nonprofit, Much Love Animal Rescue. We're based on the west side and do mobile adoptions on the weekends. And through doing rescue, was invited to observe some of the commission meetings and got very interested in figuring out a way to participate. I've been involved with Much Love Animal Rescue for about 9 years now, starting out just as a volunteer and sort of moving up the ranks to now co-run it. It's a volunteer-run organization, and our mission is to rescue animals from Los Angeles city and county shelters, primarily city. So I have spent a lot of time in the shelters, taking animals out to rehabilitate and adopt them through our organization.
That's wonderful. Certainly, when you get into animal care, there's very, very passionate people. You're obviously one of them, but very disparate points of view on how to deal with animals. So you're going to be dealing with a lot of that. Do you have any preconceived ideas of what you would like to do and accomplish on that commission while you're there?
You know, coming from rescue, spending time in the shelters, but also having a job outside of the animal world, I think has given me a fair perspective, a moderate perspective. And I know that the shelter system it's a difficult situation. It's a hard job to see change. So I think, first of all, I come to this very realistic, that things cannot be accomplished overnight. But I do believe having somebody like myself as part of this commission, bringing the experience I have from doing independent rescue, working alongside a number of the rescue organizations here in Los Angeles, and having really good relationships in the shelters with be it the volunteers or the shelter workers themselves, that I would like to think that, you know, being part of this commission, I can at least be a realistic and positive voice, and therefore be able to hopefully put through some changes that are, again, realistic. There's always room for improvement, obviously, but it's a process, and it's going to take a long time.
One of the things I hear frequently, and I see the general manager, Mr. Vokes, is here, but that the Animal Reg Department, Animal Services Department, doesn't do a particularly good job necessarily of outreaching to all its constituencies. Have you got any ideas of how you could do a better job of communicating with all those groups of people who have concerns about animal care, from the employees to the citizen?
You're saying just communicate, like...
Just how are you going to communicate better? Yeah.
Email, you know, meetings. You know, again, coming from where I sit, which is probably a different perspective, but we really make an effort to involve our volunteers in, you know, monthly meetings where everybody can be heard and everybody can come up with agenda items to come up with new ideas for our rescue. And again, I can't speak to how realistic that is to gather every employee or volunteer, but I do believe, and maybe it's naive, that if you give people a voice in the proper forum, that something productive might come out of it. And so it doesn't just turn into a complaint situation where it's actually everybody's participating to try to figure out better ways to accomplish things.
Great. The fact that you're in the shelters a lot is a great asset because I think it gives you an opportunity to engage people, and now in your new role as a commissioner, be able to engage them in a way that you're asking questions about how can we do a better job. This year is going to be probably the most difficult year in modern times for the shelters as well as the city as a whole. And we're looking in the budget of extreme fiscal constraints up to as much as 30% in some departments and layoffs. So I would be more than willing and anxious to hear from you after you get your feet on the ground a little bit there, because we will go into the budget session in May, and we're going to have those very, very tough discussions about how we can streamline our organizations, run them as well as possible on the limited resources you're going to have left over on the table. So I hope you'll get on the ground quickly over there, ask a lot of questions, and have an opportunity to come back and talk to us. In particular, have you talked to Mr. Rosendahl yet? You're a council member?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, okay, good, because he's very passionate about animal rights issues and animal care, so he'll be a good sounding board for you. I hope you'll use that, and also I hope you'll feed back to him information because he also sits on the budget committee.
Great.
Thank you. Well, welcome aboard. We'll see you in council tomorrow, I presume?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Welcome. We'll be recommending your appointment, and good luck to you. And then hopefully we'll see you back here before June 30th on a reappointment.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Item number 2.
Item 2, Board of Police Commissioners report relative to the Police Department's purchase and distribution of X-26 tasers.
Sandy, excuse me, I got a cold. Sandy Jo MacArthur, Los Angeles Police Department, Deputy Chief in charge of Incident Management and Training Bureau. Excuse me.
That's okay. And Chief, and if you and Mr. Tefank would please, we'll obviously have a lot to say about this tomorrow, but on the loss of Kenny Garner, who is a dear friend of mine, and I know the entire LAPD family feels a great loss today. So to all the family, we send our condolences.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm giving a verbal report regarding the tasers. The last report we had advised you that we were looking at issuing the taser to a specific officer. At your request, we went back to the Chief of Police and discussed the matter, especially in light of the fact that with the budget crunch that we have, we're not going to be getting any more tasers in for a while. The Chief has agreed. We are now pooling all tasers, both the M's and the X series. Currently, to date, we have 1,155 officers who've been trained. Out of the original, what we expected to train was 1,250. So we're very, very close. That's as of Friday afternoon. And we have, for the patrol side of the shop, we have an additional 4,800 that we're going to train. And then in some of our specialized details, the ones that we have identified earlier for you in our report, there's approximately 880 additional that will be trained. Because of the shift in training everybody, there's an added cost of about $89,000. And so we're identifying right now, we have some funds in some of our ammunition budgets that we're looking at moving over to buy the cartridges, training cartridges, which are required for the training. We do have enough right now to continue at the pace for training right now to the end of the year, and we're hoping to have, we will have identified money to finish out the training so that we will have all of our patrol force trained, as well as the special entities that we described earlier.
Very good. Mr. Tefank, you have anything to add to that?
No, sir. Richard T. Fank, Executive Director of the Police Commission. As Chief MacArthur indicated, she and I met with Chief Bratton, explained the circumstances relative to the budget and the council's desires, and he was very receptive to that based on the budget constraints and saw this as the ideal option to move forward.
Very good. Was there any money in the new federal assistance programs that would be, I know there's some COP money in there for programs, or is it just hiring?
We're looking at all of those avenues. It does not appear that there's money in there right now, but we are looking to see. Again, we have less lethal ordinance funding, and so we're checking that. We've got to be careful because we can't spend too much on the taser cartridges, but we are looking, and we're working within our own budget.
And how long is this contract good for us if we were to want to repurchase an additional batch?
For the contract, I believe, is, I want to say 3 years.
3 years, that's what I thought.
Yes,
yeah.
I believe it's 3 years. They have always given us a warranty of 5 years, but the contract is a 3-year contract, I believe.
So if we wanted an additional purchase without an RFP, we could do it. We have to do it within 3 years.
That's correct.
Because next year's it's going to be worse than this year. But
We understand that.
hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully, the third year would be an option. So,
we do understand that.
great. All right. Thank you very much, Chief. And with that, the committee recommends to the council approval. Thank you very much. Thank you. And item number 3?
Number 3, was that already approved by your initial consent?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah, so
That concludes the
your
agenda. Anyone wishing to speak to the committee of one on any item not on today's agenda, please step forward. Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned.